guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we're going to be working on the 2013 Kia Rio. We're going to be doing a few things to the car today. One thing is we're going to be replacing the pads and rotors for the rear. Two, we're going to be checking the rear calipers to make sure that they're still okay. The passenger rear side is sticking a little bit, so we may need to replace the caliper there. Third thing is we're going to be flushing out the whole brake system. So we're going to be replacing all the fluid in there to brand new fluid because it's about time. And fourth thing, we are going to be changing the oil in this car, but I won't be filming the changing oil part because we've already done a video on that. So let's get started. Alright guys, so first step is to check if this caliper is in fact seized or not. How I'm going to do that is I'm going to remove the brake pads on here. So that's just these two bolts on here, and then this bracket pops off. Brake pads come out. Then I'm able to hang this caliper somewhere, and I'm going to go inside and push the brakes. This will activate the piston, and then we can see if the piston comes out. And I'm going to see if I can push the piston back in and then press the brakes to push it out, just to see if it comes out in and out smoothly. If so, then likely this piston is still good and the caliper is still good and won't need to be replaced. But this is the passenger side rear that I was talking about that is sticking. So let's get to work and pull this off. It's just these two bolts here.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby, and twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. Just
there we go. Alright, so this is one of those twist on pistons to twist it back in. Let's see if we can twist it back in. Yeah, it's very tight. And a caliper is not supposed to be that tight to twist in. So this is a little seized. But aside from that, we could easily do the brake pads by just prying these out. And these are on here good. It's been, guess we haven't changed these in a long while. Yeah, they're completely worn out on this side. So this caliper is definitely sticking for sure. Because as you can see, the pad is all completely worn out. It's gone on this one. So that's causing the squeaking while driving, although the front of the pad seems okay. So we'll definitely replace this caliper, but I have to check the other side to make sure the other side is also okay.
baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain.
Okay, same process. Pull the caliper off, and then we'll check by twisting it in.
Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry.
Oh yeah, this one comes off way easier. All right, let's try the twisting in. Oh yeah, this one twists way better. Yep, the other side is definitely seized, so we are going to be replacing that caliper. This one twists easy on this one. Alright, so we're going to start off by just replacing the pads and the rotor on this side, which is pretty straightforward to do. You do have to remove this rotor retaining screw, and then there are 2 bolts on the back here holding up the caliper bracket. Pop this off, rotor comes off, and then you can put the new rotor on, put the new brake pads in, and then you're good. The new brake pads usually come with new hardware, so we're just gonna get a wire brush and scrub all this out after. So let's just remove the caliper bracket for now. There's the other one. Wow, these brake pads are so old that the material's already come off of the back end of it. Where is my wrench? Just like that, the bracket comes off. This thing is kind of stuck on there, so we just go whack, 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 comes off. See, the pad's supposed to be intact like that. However, this one's already gone off, so it is about time. You can see all the wear and everything. It's definitely uneven. So it's time for a service. So we're gonna get a impact driver and hammer this out. Hopefully it's not seized or anything, and then the whole rotor should come right out. This comes really handy for removing rotor retaining screws. There you go. Just like that, the rotor is out. Now we can reinstall the new one. And before we do that, I'm just gonna give it a good spray down of some brake cleaner, just to clean up all that residue back there. As mentioned, the brake pads do come with new hardware, so we're going to pop these clips off and we're going to install the new ones. Here's our new rotor. We're just going to open this up. We're going to have to clean the grease off of this rotor because it does have a bunch of grease on it to protect the metal. So what we want to do is spray that with brake cleaner as well, and then give it a good wipe down. Just the mating surface. We don't have to spray the rest of it. Just the mating surface. As you can see, that's all grease used to protect the rotor. And the other side. And then all we do is just pop this in. Make sure you line up where the rotor retaining screw is supposed to go. Like that. Give another spray down later. And then we can reinstall the bracket. Now, the bracket just goes back on how you would normally put them on, and then we put the brake pads on afterwards. Again, anti-seize on these bolts. They do like to rust out over time. However, these ones are actually in very good shape.
Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. Oh, but I don't wanna miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak just my mind.
Alright, so these are the new pads. Look how thick these are compared to the old ones, right? Big difference. So the one with the pin here, this is a indicator that you have to change your pads. So once it hits this, it starts to squeal. This goes in the back. So what we're gonna do is put some anti-seize around these edges and then pop them in. Just like that. You do it the same on the back. There we go. All right, with the caliper, what I've done here is I've sprayed some silicone lubricant around on this boot here so that we can clean it up a little bit, as well as apply some lubricant on the piston. Because when we twist this thing, we don't want to rip the boot in any way. So silicone lubricant will help lubricate that a little bit. And you can use it to wipe it up, and it actually makes the boot look almost like new again. And then now it's much more supple. And then we could use our tool and we can twist it in. Yep, slowly does it. You can see the boot does want to catch a little bit. After the silicone lubricant, it should be fine. Yeah, make sure you keep inspecting the boot. Make sure it's not breaking or anything or twisting off. There you go. Just like that. Push these pins back into the back. And then there, it's fitted. Now we could just bolt this back up. All right, so because we have to take the caliper off, we're gonna have to remove the e-brake cable on this. So in order to remove the e-brake cable, it is just this pin here. Pop this off and we'll be able to release it. But for me to disconnect all that stuff, I'm gonna have to bolt it back up onto this caliper bracket. So I'm just gonna do that. And then we should be able to take everything off and change it over. All right, so to remove this e-brake cable, it's pretty simple. Pry this up with a flathead screwdriver or a pry tool. There, cable's up and bracket's out. Just remember it goes in like this. Okay, so the back here, there's a bolt. All you do is pull the bolt in and the e-brake cable will come out. So it is a 12mm bolt, as you can see.
Some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly.
All right, new caliper is in. I'm just gonna double check that it's no longer leaking anymore. Just give it a quick wipe here. I've already brake cleaned everything. Everything looks pretty good for the most part. We're just gonna install the e-brake cable, which is just gonna go through here. I'm gonna twist in the back and then put in the clip, and we should be good on this caliper. And the rotor and brake pads are already in as well. So next, just gonna be bleeding the system. All right, we've got all this set up now. We want to start bleeding furthest away from the master cylinder, which is the passenger rear. Then we go to the driver rear. Then we bleed the passenger front, and then finally the driver front. So we'll be bleeding in that order. So we're on the passenger rear right now. What I'm going to do is just open up this thing. So what I've done is tied a silicone hose here, so it's very tight. No air is going to get in there. Then I'm going to crank this open. And then once this is open, all I'm going to do is just start pumping the brakes, and you'll see that the air will just start coming out and the fluid will start coming out of here. So essentially we want to open it up like there, and then it will just start filling this up. So before we do that, we're going to top off the brake master cylinder, and then we're going to start pumping the system. So here is the brake master cylinder. We want to top this up to the max line in there, and then we'll just cap it back off, and then we'll pull the funnel out and start pumping the brakes. This is a very stupid design because it's hard to get any kind of funnel in there. This is the only one I managed to get that's small enough to fit, so hopefully this all goes well. All right, once you're done all four corners bleeding the brakes and flushing out the fluid, you want to top up your master cylinder to the max line. Now I topped it up a little bit below the max. The reason being is the front brakes are already worn, and this is already a little bit too much because once you compress the piston in the caliper, it's going to overflow for sure because the front brakes are worn. But we'll deal with that on another time when we do change the brakes for the front. But for now, this will do. We're topped up, everything is bled out, and we've got new fluid in the system. All right, guys, we're all done servicing up the 2013 Kia Rio. We replaced the rotors and pads for the rear. We also had to replace the rear caliper as well because it was seized up. We've also flushed all the old fluid out and put in new fluid for the brake system. And we did an oil change off camera. Anyways, guys, I hope this video helps you guys out. If you haven't already, please comment, like, and subscribe, and share my videos. As always, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.